Hey y'all, it's your girl Dory Asia, and I'm back with another video. Back with another video for you hoes. And today we're gonna be talking about postpartum depression and recovery after C-section. While I put my hair in twists. I would say mini twists, but I ain't trying to be here all day or whatever. My hair is already divided into 4 sections, so I'm just gonna do like 4 twists per section because I don't got time. So as you know, or may not know, if you watched my last video, you know that I had a C-section when I had my son back in August. First of all, let's just have a moment of silence for America's maternity leave because it sucks, okay? The only leading country that doesn't have required maternity leave. So sad, so sad. C-section recovery, maternity leave, postpartum depression. After I got home from the hospital, I was in pain. Because you had major abdominal surgery, and people tend to forget that's what it is, right? And even when I was going through the C-section, you're not even realizing how it's about to affect you when you get home, right? So when I left the hospital, I was already on pain medication every 6 hours, whatever. When I got home, I just stuck the Tylenol every 6 hours. And the C-section and how it came about was so traumatic within itself that when I got home, it kind of was the main cause of my postpartum depression, right? And yes, I guess you could call it postpartum depression. I wasn't as bad as I know some women might be, but there would be days where I would just cry and feel like I wasn't good enough. And luckily I didn't have, any thoughts of harming myself or the baby, but that's very real for some women. So my heart goes out to them and anybody going through this. But for me, it was tough because you get home from the hospital. In the hospital, everybody's helping you. You have nurses, doctors, your partner if they're there. And once you get home, it's like, okay, you're on your own now. First time parents, I should say. And it's hard, even though we had help and stuff through the night, whenever I have to get up and feed him, I'm quickly remembered that I'm recovering from abdominal surgery and not even being able to do simple things hurt me so bad. But without being able to do simple things without being in pain was like the worst feeling ever. Yeah, so doing simple things, getting simple tasks done, like just standing up, going to pick up the baby, laughing, coughing, sneezing, brushing my teeth, taking a shower, everything made me hurt. And it was not fun, at all. That lasted for about 2 weeks or so. And I'd say that greatly affected me because, when you're pregnant and you're preparing to have a baby, in your head, you're imagining how things will go, right? All the way down from the birth to how you're gonna feed the baby, the setup in the room, etc., etc. But when I tell you, making plans for a baby is like the silliest thing because it almost always never goes according to plan. And that's okay. But I would just say, if you do have a plan, just make sure you're prepared to have it not go according to your plan because it most likely will not. And when it doesn't, or if it doesn't, just be prepared for it and just be open and accepting of it and you got to move accordingly, right? So that was my major struggle when I got home, was recovering physically as well as mentally and emotionally, because like I said in my last video, I went through pregnancy and I didn't have any complications. Like, there was, C-section was not on my mind. And then when it has to happen in the moment and it happened so quick, it really took a toll on my mental, and it took a toll on, how I feel about myself. Like, is my body doing what it's supposed to do? Am I able? Am I broken? Like, it's so crazy how it can affect your mental in that way. And this is just for anyone who may be going through something similar, or who may be wanting kids in the future and wants to know what comes along with it. Because really, at the end of the day, nobody prepares you for this, right? Unless you actually go actively looking for the information. Especially, it probably is a generational thing too, because nobody in my family, no woman in my family or anybody that I'm close to spoke about postpartum depression, right? I don't know if it's a cultural thing, being in the Black community or anything like that, but it was not talked about. Or if they didn't experience it, or they think they didn't experience it, but nobody knew what to call it. But at the end of the day, again, nobody prepares us for that, right? And so we have to educate ourselves, and I feel like it's important to share my experiences, because this is how I found out, or how I was able to prepare myself to give birth and to embark on this journey of motherhood, was through YouTube and actively looking at other people's stories, right? Actively searching other people's stories, so I have some type of knowledge going into it, right? And I'm so grateful for everybody's story that I came across on this here platform, because it really helped me. And it helped me, like, we didn't even take a parenting class or a birthing class, because everything's on YouTube. It was free, so what the heck? They want you to pay for that stuff. I'm like, nah, I'm good. We're good. We ended up having a C-section anyway, so it don't even matter. Now, what did recovery look like for a C-section? So when you're in the hospital, when I was in the hospital, even though you have a C-section, right, it still affects parts of your body as if you had a regular vaginal delivery, okay? So after you give birth, you bleed. That's just what it is. You bleed while your uterus is contracting back to its normal size. Can we just appreciate the length for a second before it shrinks up like that? But yeah, so when I was in the hospital, I was, bleeding. So they give you mesh underwear, which are oh so comfortable, and these huge pads. When I say they're about like this long, they're huge. These huge pads, so you basically have on a diaper. And when you go to the hospital, ladies, fathers, take as much stuff as you can, because you're paying for it. Take as much stuff as you can. So the way I packed my hospital bag was, we just had one bag. It was a suitcase, and I put both my stuff and Bay's stuff in one half of the suitcase, and I left the other half free to take things from the hospital. So we took formula, we took diapers, wipes, blankets, towels, my mesh underwear, and the huge pads that came with it as well. One of the nurses got all of our stuff for us. But yeah, so take all that. Needless to say, so after you have your C-section, you will be bleeding. They will come in to check to make sure that your uterus is contracting and going back down how it's supposed to. And also, like I said, pain. So most of your pain obviously will be in your core, and you will quickly realize how important your core is and how many things you use it for. So like I already mentioned, coughing, sneezing, laughing, standing up, sitting down, bending over, coming back, like walking, like everything you use your core for. And it hurts everywhere, all the time, until you're better, until you're recovered. But, and then when I got home, ouch, I was still bleeding a bit, probably for maybe 2 weeks or so. Probably not even that long, but you have that to look forward to. And then things are just sore everywhere all the time. It was not fun. I would go out for a walk with the baby, and I couldn't even walk far, which also lended its hand in how my emotional state, because like, dang, like I can't even walk to the corner and back with my baby without being in pain. I felt so like defeated and like I couldn't be there for my baby. Knowing, even though you have help and all that, the fact that you yourself are not able to do it in the way that you envisioned, it hurts. Like, it hurts your feelings. Like, it makes you feel like you're not good enough. And that is completely not true. It is completely not true. You are good enough, no matter how you give birth to your baby, vaginally, naturally, with an epidural, without an epidural, C-section. It's all amazing. It's all amazing that what our bodies can do and take and go through and bounce back from, because it's crazy. It's really wild. Like, you don't really realize how much your body can do, especially as a woman, until you give birth to a child. I swear. It's crazy. But to touch back on postpartum depression, I can't even sit here and tell you ways that I've tried to cope with it, because it was one of those things for me where I didn't ignore it. So whenever I felt the urge to cry, I cried. I expressed myself, if I could, to anybody who would listen. And I quickly acknowledged what I was going through, because to me, the quicker you acknowledge what you're going through, the quicker you're able to overcome it, right? And even though it's not something that you overcome overnight, me being able to acknowledge it and seek help and guidance when I needed to helped a lot. So one, acknowledge what you're going through, acknowledge what you've been through, because childbirth is not easy, and acknowledge that it's okay to feel how you feel, and know that you are worth it, you are capable, you are not the problem, you are doing the best you can, because if you remember those things, it will help you get through this monumental experience. Like, it's monumental in so many ways, not just physically or mentally, but you are now stepping into parenthood, right? You're stepping into motherhood, and you are now responsible for raising a little human. And we can all hope and pray that everybody raises their little humans to be good people, okay? Good citizens of the world, because, we have some interesting, personalities. That's neither here nor there. But yeah, so you're about to embark on this wonderful journey of parenthood. And, it may be easy in the beginning, but we already know how hard it can get because we know how we were as young people, okay? As teens, preteens, as we get older. Just imagine dealing with yourself. That's crazy. And I think I just wanna throw this in real quick. It's like, after you do get home, you've had your baby, you're recovering, you have a support system, or you don't. You're making sure you are making the best decisions for you and your child. I need you to remember something. There are always going to be people with opinions, especially older people. And yes, while we want to respect our elders, you need to be confident in your own abilities as a parent, okay? Be confident in your own abilities. Everything that everybody suggests may not be right. And not only that, but you also have to remember, it's not coming from a place of malice. They're only coming from a place of love. So although it may be annoying as all hell, know that they're coming from a place with love and remain confident in your decisions as a parent. Just because someone did something 20 years ago and it worked then, information changes, techniques change. It may not be the same, or it may not be the best way to do something now. And if you want to try it, go ahead, by all means try it. But if you've already looked something up and you're confident in the decision that you're making that is best for you and your child, that's all that matters. Don't let anyone impede on that confidence, because if you let them, it's only gonna make this new, what's supposed to be fun journey for you. It's gonna be hard, fun, all those things. They're only gonna make it more difficult. And we don't need to voluntarily make this more difficult, okay? Nobody wants to do that. Why would I voluntarily make this harder than it has to be? No. Don't do that. Trust me. Trust yourself. Once you trust yourself, and you have to set boundaries. Set those boundaries. Please set the boundaries. They're so important. The boundaries need to be set because the boundaries need to be set, okay? Set the boundaries. Make sure people respect you as a new parent and respect your decisions. Because although, even if I disagree with you and what you're suggesting, that doesn't mean I'm disrespecting you. It doesn't mean I don't respect you. Just say okay. And let it go. That's it, okay? Trust that I will make good decisions, or the best decisions for my child, okay? Thank you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Thanks for tuning into my video. Remember, you are worth it. You can do it. You are able. You are capable. Because, listen, your emotions and that mental will have you effed up in these streets, okay? So always remember what you're capable of, and you'll be fine. If you find yourself in a situation, recognize the situation, recognize it is what it is, and you handle it from there, right? So that you have the tools to overcome and, be the best you that you can be, right? For you and your new baby. Or just in any situation in general. You're gonna have to have a baby because people be tripping. People be coming for you even when you don't have a kid, so whatever. But thank you for watching my video. Drop a like, drop a comment, share, subscribe. Come back for the next video. Bye.